Hello, beautiful people. Happy Sunday and welcome to the Blissful Couples Corner. On this page, we talk about marriage, relationships, and how to make our marriages and relationships better. This is a safe space for us to come together and talk about the things that happen in our marriages, the challenges we face in life in our relationships, and to get tips on how we can, of course, handle these challenges. Marriage is beautiful, but filled with a lot of challenges. How do we face them? That is why we are here, so that together we can bring our tips backed by the Bible on how we can handle our issues. My name is Soul Angel, and I'm excited to be here today. It's been a while, but I am here. Family is always first, so if you don't see me, know I am doing something or busy with the family at that time. I want to apologize. I've been away for a while. I think maybe like 4 5 weeks or maybe 6. But like I said, family calls. I had to attend to family matters. But we are here and I'm so excited. I'm here once more. I hope you too are. I just want to welcome you all today. We have another beautiful episode. Beautiful one. Last time we were talking about divorce. Why the scramble for divorce? What are some of the reasons why divorce is on the high um in the world, and particularly in the United States? So today we will continue with some of those. But today, particularly, we are going to be talking about the subtle, or I would say the hidden triggers of divorce. What do I mean by that? Some of those things that couples don't see as anything, they don't see as though they may be an issue. But as we all know, many drops, of course, make an ocean. Okay. So when those things pile up, they become something else. They build to resentment, to hate, and to other things, which brings disconnect, and boom, relationship breaks. That is what we're going to be talking about today. In the past weeks, I can't remember very well, but I think the last time we were here was June 9th, if I'm not making a mistake, because it's been a month now. And during that series, we were talking, which is part of this, we are continuing it. We're talking about the main causes of divorce. I think we spoke about financial issues. We spoke about communication. We spoke about commitment and infidelity. Okay, those are the big pictures that we saw before we had this little break. Today, we are going to be talking about those little things, okay, those things that we don't see as anything, and see how they can cause or they can trigger divorce, okay? And for that, we have a guest today. She's still on her way, technical difficulties. We've been trying to get her, um, but hopefully everything is better. She's going to be joining us soon. But first, of course, I have to welcome you guys. It's been a while. What's going on? Who is watching? Let me see who is watching. Shout out to my sister Barbara Itane. Of course, she's always there live. Thank you, sister. As you come in, please share the link, to every other person. I miss you all so much. Hope you guys miss me too. Thank you, sister. Thank you. She says I'm looking beautiful. Thank you. It's the Lord's glory. We thank God. Share it as you come. And please, like I said, our topic for today, let me read it again. My brain is getting old. Our topic for today is unmasking the silent culprits. Subtle factors that can lead to divorce. Okay. We want to unmask that today, those things today. Okay. We want to unmask those things today, those things that lead to divorce, those things that when we look at it, we don't think they may cause anything, but they are serious. Okay. Before I bring our guest back, let me just throw a little light on one of the key things that I've always said here, that if you lack in your relationship aside God, is difficult, is communication. Communication is a centerpiece of every other thing, finance, infidelity, whatever, because all those things, if you have a good communication strategy, a good communication skill, you and your partner can navigate it. Okay. So communication is the center. Okay. And we talked about the core pillars in the relationship, in a successful relationship, and that communication was one of the core pillars. Okay. So just keep that in mind. Statistics have shown that in recent studies, actually, recent studies shows that most divorces in America, in the USA, are caused by communication. Actually, 67.5, yes, 67.5 divorce is due to poor or impaired communication. Once communication is not there, I always say it. If I cannot talk to you, if I come here one Sunday, I just sit and I put my beautiful face here and I'm just looking at this camera, I'm not saying anything. Even if I have it in my brain, okay, in my brain. Let me just say, I'm like, whatever. If you don't understand me, you would know I am crazy. Or if I come one day here, I just start speaking in tongues. You'll be like, this girl has gone mad, because you're not understanding what I'm saying. We are not communicating. If I'm speaking in tongues here, I'm not speaking to you. There's somebody that understands that tongue, what I'm talking about, the Holy Spirit. So I am not talking to the Holy Spirit. So I should speak in a language that you understand. That's the same thing. That's what communication is all about. If I cannot understand you, you cannot understand me, then we are not communicating. And that is the reason why so many people, so many couples divorce, because they do not want to communicate, or they have a poor communication style. Okay, so let's put that in mind, because most of the things that we will talk about today, you will see that they are connected to communication. Poor communication. Let me see who else is here. Hi, how are you, Bright? Thank you, sister. Happy Sunday, my dear. Happy Sunday. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. I see 4 people watching, but I cannot see their comments. Please post your comments so I can say hi to you. Excuse me. For right now, I've seen those my sister Barbara, my sister Awaime Bright. Please introduce yourself, okay? So that is what we have. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Impaired communication stunts growth of your marriage or your relationship. It brings unnecessary arguments, which leads to resentment. So let's try to communicate. Okay, communication is key. And of course, we know that God is the centerpiece. If you have been watching my show, you know that there is nothing that we do here without God. God is the centerpiece of every marriage, period. If you leave him out of the door, you're in trouble. So that's what we have today. So let me welcome Miss B Taeyong. She's a very strong woman. I respect her very, very much. I'm not going to speak too much about her. She's going to introduce herself, but she is a strong woman, okay? A woman of God. She's a mother. Very, in short, I don't know. She's a go-getter, okay? So, and she keeps it real. She's going to keep it real today. I am sure she's going to keep it real today. So I want to call on, let me bring her back in front. Hi, Miss B Taeyong. Your camera light is not clear, but I hope we cannot really see you well. Can you like bring your camera towards you a little bit? Your laptop camera a little bit. There you go. Yeah. Even though your face is not still very clear, but that's fine. We can. It's kind of a little bit dark, but that's fine. We can deal with that.
You know,
So welcome, Miss B. I'm glad to have you here. Thank you for honoring my invitation to be here to share your experience with us. So I would just want you to introduce yourself first, then I will get into the next part of it. Can you hear me? Miss B, can you hear me?
Hello, everyone. Miss B here,
I cannot.
signing in from Maryland.
Yeah, I say, can you
Yes,
introduce
I can.
yourself so that after that I
If
can we
you
can get into the
do,
We cannot hear you.
wondering if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I think you're in and out.
This is B signing in from Maryland.
Okay, we can hear you now. Good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you. Mhm.
This is B. Hey, everyone. Hey, everyone. It's nice to be here on So Angel Show, the Blissful Couples Corner. I'm signing in from Maryland. And a little bit about myself, I'm into HR and into personal development. So when Solange reached out to me and asked me if I could contribute, I was excited to enter this space and give a point or two what I think about the topic. I know it's going to be an interesting discussion, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Miss B, for being here. Thank you for honoring my invitation. I am honored that you are here. I know you are so busy, but thank you for coming. So today, in today's topic, like we discussed, we talked before. Um, we've been having we've been having this topic on divorce. We all know that divorce is on the rise. It's been like that for the past decades. Um, we've touched the main, I would say, the big culprits of divorce. Obviously, communication, causes of divorce like communication, infidelity, lack of commitment, financial issues, and lack of preparation. I think that's the last thing that we did, the last point we did before we had that little break. So today, the topic today, I just want us to, like, let's forget about those big guns and look at the roots. What I mean by roots, like just little things, not even like roots, but just some tiny little details that couples often ignore, like they are not important, just like the title says. Okay. Silent culprits of divorce. Okay. Unveiling, the topic today is unmasking the silent culprits. Those subtle is like those hidden factors that can lead to divorce. Okay. Indirect things, difficult to understand, difficult to navigate, things that you cannot really analyze well. Okay. You don't see as if they are causes. So what are some of those things? I know with your experience you can tell us a little bit about some of those real issues that couples face in the home daily. Okay. That can build up to resentment without the other person even knowing it. So, what can you tell us about some of those things before I can jump in? And while we are at it, if you have any questions, you're watching, if you have any question, please just put it out there. And of course, our guest is going to be able to answer that, or myself. So, over to you, Miss B. What do you think? What can you contribute on this?
Okay, so when we talk about divorce, I will start by narrowing down the demographic. So let's talk about divorce in the African immigrant in the diaspora. Let's start in that demographic. It makes it a little bit smaller and nicer. So, Solange, you have been tackling the big ticket items, finance and in laws and all that. So, what are the micro elements? What are small things that can go unaware, can go unnoticed, that will eventually pile up and build up to the point where someone is gonna, of course, want to hit the road. They will lose the desire for the marriage, and they will want to get out. So my first point is self-love. This might seem like a very trivial and small thing, but it's really big. So if you come into a marriage without loving yourself, so you enter that marriage and you decide that I'm going to get all the love from inside of my marriage. I am coming in here to find love, to feel love, and to experience love. So this is really a very terrible, this is not a good dynamic, because you coming into the marriage from a place of lack, you already lack something, and you're hoping that you're going to find it in someone, in your partner. And this is going to come with a lot of expectations on the other person to meet up your need for love. So if you are not in a marriage, it's in your best of interest to find self-love, love yourself, find out what it means to check the box of self-love. Have your cup of self-love full and running over. But if you are already in a marriage and this concept is you didn't check this box up before you enter the marriage, and now you're in the marriage already, and you want this your partner to validate your emotions of love. You looking for this validation every day. You want the word I love you. You are my all. You are my this. And it's not coming. If you hit the road, then you got to hold on and start to fill your cup of self-love. Do the things that will put you in a situation where you are going to feel and experience self-love. Because feeling and experience self-love is internal. It comes from inside. You must feel it inside of you to be able to extend it to another person. Just imagine you want your partner, your significant other, to validate your feelings every day with I love you. I love you. And it's not forthcoming. You don't get these words. You get disappointed and you start to think, oh, maybe if they're not expressing their love, then they don't have the love for me. But do you know that the mind doesn't even know the difference between who said I love you and who didn't? Because if you tell yourself I love you, you already love yourself. You treat yourself honorably. You respect yourself. You hold yourself to your own personal standards. You don't need these things from another person because you are already doing them. I mean, when they give it to you, it's a plus. But you are not going to be so much in need of this self-love, of love, to the point where you're going to drag the other person under the bus, wanting it from them. Over to you, Solange.
Okay, thank you so much, Miss B. I think that was a very powerful point. Self-love. Please, if you have any question on this, you can post it so she can answer your question. Yes. So to add to what Miss B just said, self-love is very, very, very important. And she made a statement here that if you come into marriage and you don't see that thing that you were expecting, and you have self-love, you don't need validation. You don't need somebody to, you don't need your spouse to tell you, oh, you're beautiful, before you know that you are beautiful. You don't need your husband to tell you every day I love you. You don't need your wife to tell you every day I love you. So you come in self-love. Basically what she is saying is that self-confidence. Once you have self-love, you have that self-confidence. And when you have this self-love, not only are you not looking for validation, because so many people come into marriage with expectations, And when that expectation is not met, depression sets in, problems set in, and this self-love particularly, I mean, we all know there's another thing that has been happening in the Cameroonian community. I don't know if people have noticed it. So many suicides. That's not part of our culture. I don't know where it's coming from, but may God help us. Recently, this year, I think we've had a lot of suicide from the Cameroonian, or let me say generally African community, than the previous years. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's because we have not been noticing it, but we have noticed that. And when you ask some of those questions, you hear they talk about things that are relationship related. Oh, I brought this person here. Um, he came. Before I knew it, he was married to another person. Oh, I did this one. It's all centered about relationship, about feelings, emotions. Now, when you have self-love, I don't know, but I don't think that if you really love yourself to a point, you will be able to commit suicide because of another person. That is what B was just saying here as an example. If you have that self-love, you are not looking for validation. Whether he says I love you or you don't say I love you, whether he does what, before you want to even think about harming yourself, is because you don't even love yourself. If you don't love, if you are at that point that you can hurt yourself because another person has not treated you right, it means that you don't even have that self-love for yourself. You don't have the love for yourself. And if you don't have love for yourself until it's overflowing, how can you even share with another person? So that is something that is very, very important. Very, very important. The Bible says that love your neighbor as yourself. God is not stupid to say love your neighbor as yourself, because he knows that you are supposed to love yourself before you're even loving another person. He did not say that love yourself as you love your neighbor. He said love your neighbor as you love yourself, because the same measure, because he knows that everybody love themselves. You cannot want to hurt yourself. That is why nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. So if you don't have that self-love, that is why it is easy for you to get into depression to the point of committing suicide because of another person. That is why in that relationship that you have, that your boyfriend, that your girlfriend hurts you, you commit suicide because you don't have self-love. Because it simply means that you love the other person more than the way you even love yourself. And we understand that sometimes it comes from your background, right? So that, and this brings me to a question, Miss B. So what are some of those things that you think that can make somebody, or that can cause somebody to not to have that self-love for themselves, and that leads them and get married and get into that kind of situation? Because I don't think that people will just sit like that and not really have that love for themselves. Do you think there's some things that can really cause that somebody should have that? Because I put that self-love thing in the same category as self-esteem. People that don't have self-love, I would say they have low self-esteem. So what is it that can really trigger some of those things that can make somebody to be in that kind of state, not to love yourself?
So this, I'll play a little bit the role of a psychologist here. So these two things, they most certainly always stem from childhood traumas that come to you as a baby when you're growing up as an infant. And as an infant, you develop coping mechanisms, and these coping mechanisms, because you're an infant, you don't know how they're going to go on to hurt you, because it is a survival mechanism at that point when you're growing. So if you don't notice it and get out of it, when you become an adult, you can now transport it. For example, we can talk about self-hate so that we can contrast self-love with it. If If where you grew up, people are demonizing, dragging you down, this is the characteristic of where you grew up, you're really not gonna understand it. You're not gonna know what self-love is because you didn't see it in practice growing up. This is your mind frame. So now, if you take that mind frame into a marriage, you can potentially see the problems already. The other person merged up with this dynamic is going to result in a serious lack. So sometimes we can err on the side that it's a lack of awareness too. You love yourself as you come into this world. A baby, think of a baby, it's just pure love. But as you grow up, the world starts to imprint on you. Maybe your parents or your caregivers and your cycle of wherever you're growing and you're being nurtured is not self-loving. As a child, you're going to pick up that language of love. So it's a matter of realizing it and transcending that paradigm. But this is a very tough work. This is a very difficult thing to do. The mechanism has to not serve you or maybe even cause you pain for you to realize it and then change it. So I think that not actually knowing what self-love is a problem. Could account for the fact that people don't have it, because you might really not know what it is because of where you grew up, or the people you hang out with don't practice it. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much, Miss B. Yes. So it could be that people don't know what self-love is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're watching now, you don't know what self-love is, please. Self-love is just, it's as simple as it is. Loving yourself, making yourself, treating yourself right, putting yourself first. And I'm not talking about being selfish. Okay. Self-love is loving yourself, making sure that you are the best version of you, making sure that you should not hurt yourself because of another person. If you find yourself that you are in that level where you are in a relationship, or in a relationship, I would say that you think if you break out from that relationship, or that person says, oh, we are no more together, you're going to kill yourself, you're going to hurt yourself, then it means that you're already out of bounds. You don't love yourself. You love that person more than you. It cannot be that you love a man more than yourself. Okay. The only person that has that right over your life is God, period. Not even your husband. Not even your husband. And I would dare say that not even your children. You cannot die. Okay. Everybody comes here. We all have our path. We all have to love ourselves. And besides, self-love is very important. If you don't love yourself, you cannot even know how to love another person. And that is why I say that God says you should love your neighbor as yourself. Because if you know how to love yourself, then you should know how to love your neighbor. You should know how to love your spouse. You should know how to love your children. Because the same measure that you want is the same measure that you should be giving. Okay? If you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you don't have love, you cannot pour love. That's why some people are always like feeling, some people, sometimes you see some people that are very angry. They're always like not, you look at them, they're always as if they're not in their right mood. You cannot be like that. Something is wrong with you. You don't have love. People that are always negative. You need to have love in order for you to radiate to others. Your love radiates. Christ died. God loves us. He gave something for us. Gave his son for us. Gave the light. Christ died, radiating the light. That is love. Love yourself first. Okay? It is very important. Love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you get in marriage, You have this expectation. And another thing that I'll say here is that, just like B said, she mentioned something that it may be where you come from. Some people grew up in a home where there is no love, to be honest with you. They never saw love. They never saw that expression. That is why it is very important, as we in this generation, we are growing up, bringing up our kids. We need to make them understand. We need to make them feel love. We need to make them see love, because what they see as they are growing up is what they will express in marriage. Okay? Because the flip side of it is that somebody may have grown into that kind of home, in that trauma. Now they feel that kind of, there's that hole in their mind. You see, sometimes some people say, I grew up without a dad. I grew up without the love of a parent. I grew up without a love, without the love of a father, without the love of a mother. Now, you growing up without the love of of a father, you get married to your husband, and you expect your husband to become your father. You want all the love that your father never showed you, all the love that you missed from your father. You want that man to show you. You don't even know whether he's coming, where he's coming from. He also had a missing father, or a missing mother. So your expectation is this, but he cannot give it to you, and that becomes a problem. Same thing. You don't have a mother, and you got married to this woman. Now you expect her to give you all that love that that you did not have from the mother, and the love of a wife. Abba. Then when they don't meet it now, it's a problem. Expectations are not met. So whether you're coming from whether you're coming from a broken home, from whatever, if you realize that you don't have self-love, like we have said here, the way to go is to find yourself. Find yourself. Get to that space of self-love, that space of self-confidence. You can seek help. There is help out there. You can seek help. Find your purpose. Something we're preaching today in church. This is the theme of our church this month, finding your purpose. And part of it is that love. You need to love yourself. So if you are in marriage and you're in that space that you think that something is not right, you feel like you don't feel that love for yourself, that self-love, please seek for help and get it. Because if you don't have that love, you cannot radiate love. If you don't have love inside here for yourself, you cannot, even your partner is going to be having a problem, because you are expecting to be receiving. But marriage is not about receiving. Marriage is about giving. You come into marriage with the expectation of receiving. Oh, I want him to do this. I want him to love me. I want him to care for me. I want her to cook for me. I want her to be the mother I did not have. I want him to be the father I did not have. My dear, you lie. The question is, what will I be giving into this marriage? If we both come with that mindset of giving, then we'll be happy. Okay. So find yourself love. Once you find that love, you have love, you can give love. So let us know that, and then we will solve this problem of depression, suicide. Nobody born of a woman should be able to make you commit suicide. First of all, it's a sin. You don't have the power to take your life. God did not give you that right. So just know that it is a no. Find yourself. Find self-love. B, what else do you have for us? If you have any question, if you have any contribution, please, you can type it here so that we can talk about it. Next point, do you have any other thing for us?
Yes, so
Those thumbs up, share the link, and give me those thumbs up and pump those hearts, so that when you remember, when you have these likes, it triggers the Facebook and the YouTube algorithm to send this video to a lot of people, to show it to so many people. So please, I need your help pumping these hearts and giving us these likes on Facebook and YouTube especially, so that we can reach more audience. Thank you so much.
okay, moving on to Solange laid a very nice foundation that is gonna launch the second point of these subtle elements that can destabilize a couple. So before we go to this second point, I wanted to point out the fact that The lack of self-love and the coming into the space of neediness is what now takes you into the arena of resentment.
Right.
You enter that arena, that's not a good place to be. You start to resent everything. It's like a poison that slowly enters
Mm,
the relationship and starts eating it up slowly. So that's like the end point. It's like a slow build up of these needs that you need, and they are building up slowly. And then you're looking at the other person and thinking, why is this person not meeting this need? And then the end point is resentment. You start to resent the person now, because you're like, we're living in a relationship together, and why is it that you're not seeing the need that I have? That's where it ends up. Okay, I needed to tie that down so your audience can see the
yep.
destination. The next point is self-discovery, and Solange had already laid a nice foundation. Before we go into marriage, we are people. We have lives. We enjoy stuff. There are things that light up our lives. There are things that bring us fire, that make our hearts tick. We get into marriage, and guess what? These things die because the marriage consumes, the marriage takes off, and then you take upon a new identity. I'm married. So you stop lighting these fires. You stop checking these boxes that were first and foremost things that contributed to your happiness. And now you meet a partner who, quote unquote, might not be interested in these things. So you abandon yourself and you say, I can't do that no more because I met a partner who is not doing this. So that's the ultimate death of self. When you're no longer on this journey of self-discovery, then you are not even growing. Let's lay a foundation. Let's say before marriage, you enjoyed movement. Everything movement, you were for it. You enjoyed going out for sports. You enjoyed running. You enjoyed dancing. You enjoyed this stuff. And then you come into marriage and you're thinking, I'm supposed to be doing this stuff with my partner. Why are they not coming? You extend and extend and extend an invitation, and then you keep meeting a reject, reject, reject. And then what you do? You abandon the thing that you loved in preference of the fact that my partner is not doing, so I'm not doing too. And then slowly over time, you start to resent them. You hate them for you're thinking in your mind that they caused you to stop doing the thing that you love. No, they did not. You stopped it because you needed company to do the thing that you love. They didn't stop you. You stopped it. It's like a feedback loop that runs in your head. So what you need to do is continue on your journey to self-discovery. Even though they are not part of it, you must come to a place where you're deciding, am I going to continue on my journey to the things that I love? Or I'm going to just drop them and let them die a natural death? But I will tell you that if you take that route, it always ends up in resentment. You end up hating people for not allowing you to express yourself. Because most of the time, these things are things that border on self-expression, which end up leading to self-love. On the contrary, they lead to self-love. So when you stop doing them in preference of the other person, where are you heading to? So you must become like a really nice detector. Look at these things, weigh the consequences, where we're abandoning these things that light up your fire, that spark up your life. You weigh them and you decide, will I be resenting? Will I be in the destination of resentment if I drop this? If the answer is yes, then you cannot drop it. Even if your partner doesn't like it, you have to promote them. Because when you promote them, they will eventually come on board. They will join you because it's for the good. When you're happy, you have a happy marriage. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. Because you're going to bring your A game to the marriage. You're going to bring your best. When you're sad, watch everything become dark. So over to you, Solange.
I like that last statement.
That
When
was
you're happy,
discovery.
watch how your marriage becomes happy. Like, and when you're sad, watch how your marriage becomes dark.
Yes, it becomes very dark.
I love that point. I love that point. And that is so true. That is so true. For those who are married here, you understand. I think you can relate, okay? Like when you're angry, everything in the house, like the mood of the house is totally different. I always say that when a woman is angry in the house, even though there is light, you see light, there's light over the place now. But if you understand what's happening, the atmosphere is dark because nothing is moving, like it's stuck. So that is exactly what is if the couple, if you're not happy in marriage, if one couple is not happy, one partner is not happy, there is bound to be problems. That marriage is going to have issues. So just to you know put some light on what Miss B has just touched. She talked about self-discovery, and the main thing here that I want us to grab here is what she's trying to say is about continue to do the things that make you happy to stay in your marriage. Okay. She gave the example of traveling. Some people love travel. Some people love to explore the world. Before they got married, that was what made them happy. And before you got married to them, you knew that they liked traveling. Now they are in the house, you expect them not to travel. If that person still really holds that, if you really think that that makes the person happy, some people that's their lifestyle. I have a friend. She says one of the things that she likes is traveling. She said it just makes her happy, and she has already made her mind that before she dies, by God's grace, she must have visited this place, this place, this place. But like we say, God proposes, right? Man proposes, God disposes. Only God's plan will prevail, no matter what, how many plans that we have in our hearts. Okay, so that example that she used, I can resonate with it because I have a couple of friends that is their passion. They love traveling. But some got married to people that don't like traveling. Okay, so sometimes their partner already knows, they know already. So sometimes this my friend, she will just plan her trip, book her ticket, and just travel with her friends. The husband doesn't have any problem with that because he knows that that's what she likes. It makes her happy. And the husband too has his own things that he likes. She doesn't bother. When it's time for that, she understands that that makes him happy. Remember, when you guys get married, it doesn't mean that you have to stop the things that make you happy. What you have to stop is the things that will make the marriage unhappy, or the things that would destroy your marriage. Traveling can never destroy your marriage. There's some attitude, of course, that will destroy your marriage. But the ones that will not destroy your marriage, there's no need stopping it. Instead, if you will add flavor to your marriage, bring it on. The person, once in a while, you will travel with your partner, because that, my friend, once in a while she travels. Every year they have their own family vacation with the kids, and she has her own vacation only with her spouse. So she has some with her friends, those other ones that the husband doesn't want to go to. So it's just to find what makes you happy, so that you don't bring that gloominess in your marriage. And again, this comes with communication. I said it from the beginning here. If you at that point that you feel like, when you ask, just like you said, you ask there is rejection, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you were like, okay, that's fine, I will just go ahead with it. If you know and you know that tomorrow you're going to resent it, please think about it. Have a conversation with that man or that woman. There is nothing that beats communication, because most of these things build up to resentment because we don't talk about them, because we feel that, oh, we can handle it, it's okay. But now when it begins to pile up every day, you sit and you are doing things, now you are grumbling. Of course you have to cook. You are cooking, you are grumbling. Then when you see your friends on vacation, you be like, man, I should have been here. This kind of my married, kind of mad country, my married, and so you know I'm going inside. We cannot country get this. We cannot. And you, when you start doing having that kind of feelings, you know what happens? It builds resentment. It builds to hate. And when those resentments are coming, that's what disconnection is easy, eh? And it doesn't come in a day. That's why we say subtle. It doesn't come one time. It's small, small. It keeps piling. It keeps piling. Then one day it explodes. Why? Because we did not talk about it. Let's talk about these things. It may look as nothing, but please, if you are married, try to listen. Don't hear, because sometimes you are hearing me, but you are not listening to me. Listen, don't hear. So that is very important. And it also brings me to a point where you as a couple, you need to compromise. You need to compromise. Yes, I know you don't like travel. Yes, I know you don't like this. But can we meet halfway? I mean, you've been having your time. You've been having no, no, no. But at some point, come on. We are humans. Can we compromise? Nobody is perfect. Imagine that I keep saying no, no, no to you, and you keep saying no, no, no to me. You think that marriage is going to last? So the bottom line is couples need to come to a compromise sometimes. Look at the table. What is at hand? What can we do to solve this problem? And again, it brings communication in. When that communication comes in, we have to weigh options now and say, okay, what can we compromise? Okay, can I meet you halfway? Can you meet me halfway? Sometimes we don't even have to meet halfway. Sometimes you have to say, okay, you know what? That's fine. You have your way this time. So it's not perfect, but we have to put the spices, the sugars, and everything. Marriage, okay? It's like food. You have to. Sometimes you cook food, it doesn't come out good all the time. You put salt, maggi is too much this time. Next time you say, no, let me reduce it more. That's how you do it. That's why here we say the flavors and splendors of marriage. You need to bring those flavors. Sometimes it will be sweet, sometimes it will be bitter. It cannot be sweet all the time. It cannot be bitter all the time. So we got to compromise, and we have to understand our partners. Self-discovery. People like to explore. Understand your needs, understand your partner needs, and come to a compromise on that. Thank you so much for that point, Miss B. Do you have any other points to share today with us?
Yes, so the next point borders on communication, which you have already hit upon. So it's really about speaking up. Like there was an example of Melinda Gates in the news sometime, maybe I don't know this year what time, and she said one of the things that she would have loved to do more in her marriage was speak up. And sometimes you may feel like this is so little. I can just not say anything. Let me let it slide. But I will tell you this. If you don't say how you feel about that situation is gonna pile up. And still it will land you in a place of anger and resentment.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to be really honest. It's your partner. This is not your boss or your whoever. This is a partner. This marriage you guys are creating is a beautiful thing. So you want to approach it with a lot of openness and honesty, and tell them exactly how you feel about situations.
Right.
Don't check yes and nod your head. I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then at the end of the day, you have an explosion. And then the other person is going to say, but you said yes. And then you're going to say, I was not too sure. Okay, so why did you say yes if you're not too sure?
Exactly.
You can say, let me think about it. So you want to speak up. And one way for you to speak up is to cross these things against your values. What do you value? What do you honor as a person? Who are you? Because when you know these things, you can speak up very easily. There's no confusion. You will not have blur lines because you have passed this what you're talking about against your values, what you like, what you dislike. what you stand for, the cause that you're channeling. So if they bring something to your table, if your partner brings something to your table, you express your mind about how you feel about it. Is You don't necessarily need to get them to agree on it, but you have said exactly how you feel about it, so they know. They come out of that discussion knowing where you stand. You don't nod, you don't shrug your shoulders, you don't make faces, because these are visual cues. They could mean anything. They don't know what you're communicating with all these you're making, and this show that you're shrugging or your eyes you're rolling. What does that mean to them? So communication should be open, honest, clear, and be speaking up. Don't all the week, honey, can you do this? You say yes, 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 check, check, check. And then at the end of the week on Sunday, you're like, I don't like that. Or I take that back. I don't know why we did that in the first place. I wasn't happy. So speaking up is one sure way not to be happy, not to hit the resentment destination. Don't want to go to resentment destination? Say your mind. Some people say, oh, my other partner cannot handle the truth. How do you know that?
How do you
You
know
need to
that?
how
How
you know
can he not or she not handle the truth?
you need to find out by telling them the truth. Come on. Which one is better? Telling them the truth or keeping them in a lie? Which one?
Exactly.
Which one do you prefer? So let's deal with it today and keep it moving. Because
That's right.
we really have only today. So let's honor today. Let's say what we want to say.
You've said it all.
Remember, the marriage is bigger than you. You all are contributors to the marriage. You're working as partners to make this holy union work. You want it to work. You want it to see it succeed. Okay. So if you lay that foundation, why will you not speak up against the things that can potentially hurt the marriage down the road? You have to. Over to you, Solange.
Like, yes, so you've said it all. You've said it. I mean, this one of my partner cannot handle the truth. Okay, if you can, okay. The question is, if you cannot handle the truth, who will handle it? Do you have another person to handle the truth? Because you're just indirectly telling me that I cannot tell him the truth, or he can never know the truth. She can never know the truth. That's what you're indirectly saying. And remember, using a lie to cover a lie only builds up. In a situation, if you're trying to hide your feelings by pretending, already you have a negative feeling already. Then you are pretending again. That's the second thing you're adding on it. And before you know it, you have a mountain full of things that you keep piling. Speaking up is so important. Let me give you an example. I said I always like to give life things here so that we know what that we are real. I always say that marriage is not a bed of roses. And when I come here and speak to you, it is not because my marriage is perfect. Mm-mm. It's because I am learning something. God has put something in my mind to make sure that I pass it to people by God's grace. So my experience and other people's experience is what we are putting together. And by God's grace, we are giving there. So I always like to bring some examples that are related to me so that people know that we are not here for jokes. Okay. You may be going through that. And I'm saying it because somebody may be having the same issue. And my own testimony can help somebody. Okay. My marriage is not perfect, but by God's grace, I am trying. We are trying. We both she said here that it's a two-way thing. It's not one person's thing. We are trying every day to make it better. This issue of speaking up and saying that, oh, that's okay. I can handle it. There is this, my husband likes to stay late at night. And it's not something that started today. It's something that started way back. That was when he came to America. Actually, sometimes when he was doing his PhD program in Kenya, I guess because of all the reading and all the research that he was doing at night, for some reason that has become something in him that even up to now, eh, it's something that every day I still talk about it. So that attitude, I've been talking about it, talking about it, talking about it, but every day is one excuse or the other. I know he's watching me, and right now he's like, "Are you serious?" Yes, I'm serious. So there was one point I said that, you know what, I'm not even going to talk about this thing again. It's fine. After all, I've been, after all, I've been dealing with it. I mean, after it's not changing, I keep saying, because usually I will say it, but I will not really say like I'm serious about it. I'll be like, man, babe, this your late night thing is becoming too much here. Then when I say I'm going to bed, he'll be like, oh yes, I still have some couple of minutes. I'll be like, that's it. Is it? Are you saying? Are you gonna say anything straight? If you like, then I'm like, if you like, come at 4 a.m. in the morning. If you like, don't even sleep. If you like, sleep down here. So I will say it. I said I'm joking, and I'll go me. So at one point, I'm like, why am I even bothering myself? I will stop talking about it at all, so that it doesn't bother me. But when I realized, for the time that I stopped talking about it became like, oh, it's okay, because when I come to bed, it doesn't take me 5 minutes to sleep. I'm done. So I realized that for the time that I decided I'm not going to be talking about it. When I want to sleep, I just say I'm going to bed. Sometimes I don't even talk. I just go me. But I realized that I started getting pissed off. I started getting very angry about the thing. But I will not still say me anything. And in my mind, I've said I'm not saying anything. So I left it. But with time, I was getting more angry. I was resenting. I'm like, it was just, at one point I realized that there was a week, actually, I realized that I was like, my mood was not right. And I was asking myself, but what is it? Why am I like this? And he himself asked me, like, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. It took me time. When I come to bed, the anger increases. I'm like, okay, something is not right here. Then I realized that this thing is building up. So I think this matter of, I'm not going to talk about it again, it's not working out. Okay, it's not working out at all. So that brings me to the point that you said that you sure you can handle it. Think about it again. So I knew that it was okay, but when I took that decision, I'm like, I saw it going down the drain. I'm like, no, 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 I have to talk about it, because it really became a problem for me, a serious problem. Now I started thinking, what the hell is he been doing sitting there all the time? What work is that? Is he talking to somebody else? How come a man will not be coming to bed every day? He'll be coming to bed maybe 2 a.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m. What the hell is going on? Listen, I'm telling you, I'm, I'm keeping it real, okay? So all these things were going through my brain. I'll be like, no, 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 you cannot be thinking like that. I'll come after my prayers, I'll be like, until he started affecting me. It started affecting my prayer. I couldn't pray when I come to sleep because I'm angry. If you're angry, you cannot pray because you have that guilt. You cannot go to God to pray when you're angry. So I'm like, no, no, this is becoming something else. I had to sit him down someday. One day I told him that, okay, we need to talk about this thing. I said, can you explain to me why? And I told him, for the past, I observed it for the past, is it like 6 weeks or 8 weeks? As I've been observing this thing for the past thing, looks like it doesn't bother you that every day I'm going to bed alone. You come to bed like 2, 3 hours after me. And I remember there was a day he complained about something, something concerning bed or whatever sex. I'm like, people who come to bed 2, 3 hours after me, ask me. That it was that bad. I was like, you come to bed 2, 3 hours after me, and you're expecting something, and like, oh, so I had to like pause, take a deep breath, and say, hey, okay, it's time for us to talk about this thing. And we talked about it, and I told him, I don't like it. It's becoming a problem for me. I told him all the crazy feelings that I had about it and everything. He was like, okay, I don't hear you. Oh, did he know that that's how it was affecting me? No. If I did not speak up, I will keep it, and before you know it, it explodes. That's what happens. That you see other people will start going out looking for company somewhere. Listen, that little things that can lead you to go wayward. Okay, and this goes same way with the man. Women can express themselves, but men may not. Even if I was a man, flip it over. Maybe he will be looking for something else to entertain himself. So we should be very careful. It is very important that we express ourselves when we are not feeling right about something, because it can lead you to something else. Women, we can manage our emotions. Sometimes we can really manage it, and because when a woman is committed, she is committed. But for men, if a man feels this thing that I've explained here, if it happens to a man and it goes on for a while, don't be surprised that that man will start cheating, because he has all sorts of things in his brain. Like, you don't even care, you don't do this, you don't do that. But what is there is just communication. So you see that that breach of communication, because I didn't express my feelings, it started building up resentment. It brought the disconnection was there. Okay, so I am saying this to say that if you ever find yourself in any situation that needs you to talk, please speak up. Because when you leave it, it piles up. And when you start piling up, when resentment comes, it leads to disconnection. And all that is because of lack of communication. We cannot overemphasize, we cannot over talk about this. There's no how, I mean, we don't have another way that we can really express the importance of communication in every relationship. If you look at all what Miss B here, what she has expressed, what we have talked about here, it boils down to one point. The only way to tackle it is by communicating. Now, when you communicate it, it doesn't work out, then you know that you have tried. Then you know that probably you need another help, maybe an external help. But have you tried communication? I think that is the basic thing. I hope that my example, I mean, this is a life thing that happened to me. It's not like I heard this from somebody else. I hope that it has helped somebody to make sure that they speak up. No matter how little that thing is, it can affect you anyhow. Oh, I don't care about it. But the thing is that when it's something that keeps on going all the time, if it keeps happening all the time, don't take it for granted. And I want to bring another example. If you have a person, a partner that keeps coming late all the time, they're out every weekend, they're out. They don't care about you. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like what we see in Maryland. People are in sequence every weekend that they already have their steady calendar. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sequence. If you have a partner that does not appreciate that, and you keep doing that, you are not giving a listening ears. Trust me, you are in for trouble. Listen, listen. Because before people divorce, something must have happened. They don't just get divorced in a day. It's something that has happened for a while, then it happens, boom. So be careful, watch out. I don't know, Miss B, do you have anything for us again?
Yeah, so on this point about speaking up, there's something I want to say. There are some things that are taboo subjects, some emotional things that people are just afraid to state them, to expose them, because they feel like this is a shame. How is it that I'm feeling like this? For example, you can actually be jealous of your partner. These things are normal. You can be jealous of the approach they bring to their job. You can be jealous of how well they are taking care of themselves. You can be jealous of, I mean, jealousy, envy. These are cocktails. These are real emotions. Because when you living in a
Yeah.
human body, you cannot prevent yourself from feeling emotions. So because we're also living in a society that this type of negative quote unquote emotions are demonized and shut
Yeah.
up and cast away, you might not be able to express them. So this part of speaking up, you if it's emotion like jealousy and you're finding it hard to just state to your partner, hey, this situation caused me to be jealous. You don't have to explain too much. Pinpoint the situation and find a way to just say, bring out the emotion. I was jealous in this situation. What should we do about it? Was I reading it wrongly? And I'm looking for a solution. This this kind of difficult, I call them difficult things to talk about, because the emotion carries with them shame. You just feel ashamed that you're feeling it. So you want to be careful with these ones, because these are the really ones that you watch out for them, for the fact that it's difficult to express to the other person that I'm jealous of you, I'm jealous of this. So you want to be careful, you want to watch out, and most certainly seek resources on how to tell the partner about these negative emotions, because if some partners are just gonna laugh or shame you for expressing that you're jealous, they might throw you under the bus, so you are scared of what they're gonna do, you're scared of their reaction. But the thing is, you're actually feeling that way. So if you cannot find a way to express that way that you're feeling in a healthy, clear manner, you will keep feeling like that. And then it's going to end up in another thing. So for taboo emotions, you have to find a way to speak up, like jealousy, envy, hatred. I experienced this kind of emotion with one of my partners. I was so much in love with the approach they brought to work. They entered into a state of flow. This is when you're merged with your work and nothing can disturb you. No amount of calling or asking you to come do anything can take the person who is in flow out of their work. So if you're a partner to that kind of person, you can become really jealous. You have to find a way to talk about it, to bring it to the table so you guys can clarify. The end point of this is you want to clarify the slate. You want to make it back to normal, where everyone is feeling like I'm heard, I'm seen, my opinions matter, my feelings matter, and all that. So that's how I'm gonna say it for speak up.
Okay.
Hmm.
So just to clarify something here, when you say jealous about about your partner's job, are
Hmm.
you talking about the fact that they put their jobs first, or are you talking about the fact that you wish you had that kind of job, or
Okay,
please wait.
so it's like, it's not you wishing that you had their job. It's just like what they do. They really like what they do. And then if you are doing what you're doing for to make a living, you really don't like it. You just have to do it because you
Oh,
are
okay.
doing it. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to go find what they do. No, you have to find what you want to do that can make you enter into a state of flow like that. You find your own thing that you can bring love to. So
That is very powerful.
that that spoke to my heart, because I was like, I like the way you approach work. I like the way you approach what you're doing. You come in with so much flow and so much energy into what you're doing. So that put me on an assignment to find my own thing that I can also bring flow to. In that way, when they are in their flow, you're
You're in
not
your flow.
disturbing the flow. You're not saying, amigo, come and eat or come and do this or
Oh
come and do
boy.
that. You respect their flow because
Yeah,
you found your own flow.
that's
So,
right. And I think that's a very powerful point that you brought on, because I actually have a friend. She's actually at the verge of, and I will not say at the verge of divorce. She's actually in the process of divorce. And that, I think, from all what we have been talking, is because of that particular thing, jealousy from her partner.
mhm.
Yeah, we realized it was jealousy of for about her career goals, her aspirations. She's a go-getter. She's not somebody, when she decides to do something, she has to accomplish it. She has so much energy and so much passion for what she's doing, and she's excelling in it. So that, all what we've discussed and analyzed, we've realized that that is actually one of the main reasons that the partner doesn't even want to reconcile or think about, you know, bringing the relationship, trying to work on the relationship, because he cannot stand that. Some people, some people are just like that. He cannot stand that confidence that she has. So that is actually a big problem. And thank you for bringing that. If you realize that you have that issue, please speak up. Because if he could just say, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm feeling," I mean, they could navigate. It's okay. We are all humans. We
Yeah.
have that. You have those feelings sometimes, and you'll be like, maybe they're like, "Oh, how would you feel about how would she feel about me saying that?" Yeah, it's better she feels something. You guys talk about it than to break up your relationship
Yeah.
for how many years you've been trying to build. And this brings me to another thing that I wanted to talk about that often falls under this speaking up that couples don't say. They don't speak to each other. Sex. People don't like to talk about sex with their partners. Some people, let me put it like that. And some relationships, or I'll say most relationships, most marriages, okay, they are the couples are starved, or some partners are starved of their matrimonial bed rights. Listen, if you're married, you have the right to give your partner sex. I will speak it out loud. The Bible says it. God is not stupid when he said that. To the extent that Paul said that if you are in a fast, you need to take permission from your partner in order to abstain from sex and do not go long. If you are in a marriage, if your a partner is starving you of sex, please speak up. If you know that it is a problem, if it is not a problem, you are fine. Oh. But if it is a problem, please speak up, especially the men. And if your husband speaks to you about sex, please, my sister, consider it before he goes outside. And the speaking up about sex here comes mostly with women. Men, they will say their thing. But us women, we are ashamed to ask that, hey, babe, what's going on? It's been a while. I don't know why you're ashamed. It is your right. If you did not know that it is your right, know today. It is your right. You have authority over your body, your husband's body, and he has authority over your body.
Yeah. Then.
If you feel like you want it, you have to ask. Rather than sitting there and you are grumbling that you are not having something, speak up and tell him, you have been starving me. I don't appreciate it. And again, if you know your husband is not satisfying you in bed, please speak up.
If you know what.
Speak up. It is important. So many marriages, you ask them what is the problem, they are turning up and down, left and right, twisting. If you ask most of this couple, this marriage therapists, they will tell you they come and they're twisting, twisting, twisting. But the problem is sex. Money is there, everything is there. They're looking good, children, everything is fine, but they are having unnecessary complaints. When you dig deep, the problem is sex. Problem that you should have solved in the house, you are coming to marital counselor to do what? To show you how to do sex. Speak up, especially the women. Speak up. If you are being starved, or if your man is not satisfying you, it is okay to say, honey,
Okay, go on.
I'm not satisfied with
How
this
to
thing.
does it?
Maybe we should try it this way. Maybe we should try it this way. It is your right.
Voice is here.
It's your right. So I want us to understand that the speaking is not limited only to things that you think you it's easy. Sex is not easy to talk about it if you are not married. But if you are, and I'm telling you, sometimes it depends on where you're coming from. Me, I'm running my mouth here. I was not like this before. If you ask my husband, he will tell you he suffered. He suffered. He suffered, but he was patient and kept reminding me. He never stopped talking. He never stopped telling me that no, 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 you have to ask. To me, I'm telling you again out of my experience, I never, for me, it was not something that for me it was a taboo. One of the things that just like B was saying, that you feel like it's a taboo. I felt like as a woman, you don't have to. Oh, how will he look at me asking? You know, but it was a problem for my husband. It's like, no, I need to feel that you desire me too. It's not only me asking all the time. I'm like, but when you ask, I give. So what's the problem? No, 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 no. I don't only want to ask. I want to see sometimes. I want and see that you ask. It makes me feel good that you desire me. For me, it was no problem, but for him, it was a problem. If he never spoke about it, and it's not one time, oh, he kept talking about it. He kept talking about it. Did I get 100% better? No, but at least it's better. So I am telling you, if you are like me before, please start doing it. Because if my husband was not the type that was patient, he will not have time to be running up behind me for that. Sometimes, listen, we may know that we can go for months, nothing will happen. He will not even trigger, he will not even, especially when we are busy. So sometimes it's a consciousness. Okay. So if you are in a relationship and you're thinking that you are being starved or that part is lacking, I know that's one of the parts that for some reason I don't know why couples don't really talk about it, but please bring it up to the table. Bring it to the table is very, very, very important. Talk about your sex life. If it is not flowing, find ways to fix it. And I'm saying this, I'm also referring particularly to Christian marriages. Listen, not everything is spiritual. When it's time for spirituality, let's do spirituality. When it's time for other things, please do other things. Okay? You cannot take time that you have to spend together, time for sex, time for what, and you are speaking in tongues. Mm-mm. Speaking in tongues has its own time. So every time, to everything there is a time, there is a season. Don't take season for speaking in tongues and bring into sex, and don't take season of sex and start speaking in tongues. So please let's demarcate those things. It is very important. Christian marriages, particularly, please let's not spiritualize everything in marriage. Sex is a physical act. Forget about Holy Spirit out of it. Yes, God created it to glorify himself, everything. But when you are acting sex, it is physical. No speak in tongues. So, and speak about it. Talk about it. If something is not right about it, the only person you can speak about sex with is your partner, is your husband, is your wife. So if you don't talk about it with them, you have nobody else to talk about it. So you better meet them and talk about it with them. Okay. It's not shame. So that is what we have today. The first thing that must be talked about is self-love. Love yourself so you avoid unexpected, unmet expectations. Some nobody's your father, nobody's your mother. The next one is what? Self-discovery. The things that you want, you like, make sure that you do them. And then we come to a compromise. And the third one is speak up your feelings, any feeling of what you're not. If you're happy about something, thank you. If you're not happy about something, we are talking about causes of things that cause divorce that we don't really see that as something. Talk about it. We talked about things like you can be jealous of your partner, taboo things that you feel like you don't have to talk about. It's like it's the taboo. Where if you talk about it, if you feel it concerning your partner, but still talk about it. Remember that the aim here is for you to save this relationship. It's not so much about you. It's so much about, like B said, your marriage is bigger than you. Because in that marriage, you have your husband, you have kids for some. So it is bigger than you. Don't only look at yourself because then you become selfish, but look at how you can make the situation work with your partner. So talk about things. The things that don't make you happy, talk about them. Because if you start keeping it, you don't have self-love, you're expecting and you're not getting love. You don't have you don't want to do the things that you like, self-discovery, you just stop it. You feel that you're pleasing your partner, but you're actually building up resentment against him. You don't speak up. He does this, you don't like the sex, so you don't like. He say what some people say, "Ah, this man, na a better man, 1 minute man, he comes like Monday, too quick. This one, you are grumbling with your friends outside, but you are not talking. It builds resentment. And the next person that will come and say some sweet things to your ears, you'll be like melody to your ears. Meanwhile, if you were discussing, if you were speaking up, you guys would have solved that problem. So speak up. It is very important. So those are the things that we have, those subtle things, and there are so many others. We talked about attitude that can build up. Your husband or your wife can be coming out late at every weekend, and you're not talking about it. You keep on piling it, before you know, you explode. My own married, don't correct. You may have a man that is alcoholic. He drinks like crazy. Every day he's thinking with alcohol. And you are not talking about it. Maybe to him, he thinks that it's okay. Because the fact that you're quiet, I am not a magician to read your mind. We've always said that. I am not God. Only God can know what is in your mind. Okay? So those are the things that we have for us today. I hope that this episode has blessed anybody, everybody that has watched it. B, if you have any other thing to conclude, you can conclude now as we close up, as we wrap up.
Oh, it was a nice time with you, Solange, and I look forward to more episodes. And I'll conclude by saying that let us remember that contrast which people that are different from us, difficult situations, all of these things, they are actually the fuel, the fire for expansion. We
Exactly.
grow with this stuff. So the way we handle these differences, the way we approach this stuff, we are just trying to lay a foundation that is not going to land you in the destination where you feel like you don't have options. We're trying to
Mm-hmm.
make you walk, see your slow walk to this resentment destination and start to walk yourself back so you don't
Right.
get there. So it's doable. These are doable stuff. You just need to change a couple of things and you will have a very wonderful marriage and a very nice time in your marriage because it's not a death sentence.
Mm-mm. It's
It's a
not.
it's a place to have fun. It's a place to
Yes.
grow. It's a place to explore. So good luck to everyone who is married. That's all. And thank everyone for watching.
All right. She's hilarious. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss B, for honoring my invitation. Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us today with the Blissful Couples Corner family. I just want to thank everybody that has been watching, wherever you've been watching from. I see my husband is there. Mercy, thank you so much, sister, for joining. Thanks to Babis, my sister Awa May Bright, watching all the way from Cameroon. Thank you all so much. Couple of announcements. Um, I may be changing the time for our show. I don't know yet, but I just want to put that in our mind because I'm trying to. I've realized that the audience in Africa, they have a problem because of the time difference. The time difference is really like wide because we now like this probably towards midnight on the time. So I'm trying to see a time or and a day that fits better, to accommodate all of us um in a good time. So we may be changing our day and time, but I will communicate that with us later as when I make that decision finally and have a concrete day and time where we'll be having our show. But for now, we'll continue with this time. But just have in mind that we'll be changing. And the next thing I want to say is that please, if you are watching and you have any questions, if you have any marital issue, any relationship issue, make sure you can always reach out to me. Privately, you can send us an email at the blissful couples corner at gmail.com, or you can send me a message, a private message on Facebook, and I will reach out and I will have set sessions to talk about it. Okay. I'm here. If you have any questions, if you have any counseling needs, you can always reach out to me. Okay. I want to thank everybody that has been watching. I want to thank my husband for his support. Um, Thank you all so much for everything and for remaining strong with the family, having confidence with us as we do what we know how to do best. Again, I will ask you to share, to like, and comment so that it can reach every other person because your likes and your comment will trigger the Facebook algorithm to show it to other people. and have more subscribers. Oh, please share also the my page and my channel to your family and friends so that we can have many more people subscribe to our family. Okay, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you. You have a blessed week ahead of you, and I will see you all next week as we continue our lovely show. Thanks again, Miss Bitayo. It was a pleasure having you here on board. Thank you, and bye to everyone. I love you, I love you, and see you all at the top.